listener, and welcome to my review of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Close Encounters of the Third Kind was released in 1977 and is written and directed by Steven Spielberg and stars Richard Dreyfuss and has music by the one and only John Williams. And basically the film centres around Roy Neary, played by Richard Dreyfuss in the film. Roy Neary is just an everyday person. He lives an everyday life. He's a husband, he's a father, and he's an everyday job. However, one night when all the lights in this town go off, he goes out to investigate. He goes out to find out why all the lights in this town have gone off. And in doing so, he finds he has a rare occurrence in his car. And then a few minutes later, he almost runs over a child, and he pulls in at the side of the road. And when he does, he literally gets lights flashed on him, alien spaceship lights flashed on him, and then as a result of that he has a red burn on half of his face. And at the same time, Gillian, a woman who was also there, who was also flashed by these alien spaceship lights, has a complete red burn all over her face. Anyway, as the film progresses, we follow Roy Neary, played by Richard Dreyfuss in the film, and he starts to become mad. He starts neglecting his family, and he starts to become obsessed with this unusual like shape that's almost like a mountain but with a flat surface. And then he literally becomes obsessed. He literally drives his family away, and then one day he finally sees this unusual shape as a mountain on a TV. He doesn't know why and he doesn't know how, but he has to get to this mountain in America. And when he does finally get to this mountain, guess who he sees there? Gillian. And as we've seen early on in the film, Gillian actually lost her son to these alien spaceships, so she's trying to get her son back at the same time. But we mainly follow Roy Neary's character, you know. Anyway, as the film progresses, complications start to occur. They have to get to the top of this mountain with this flat surface, but complications start to occur. For example, everyone else is against them, like the army, these scientists that are trying to investigate what's going on. Because bear in mind, these are alien spaceships. These are things that have never been seen in this world before. And so they investigate, what does it mean? How do we communicate to them? And they come up with these 5 musical notes to communicate with them. So we have the bum, 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 something like that. The hand symbols. I tried to memorise them last night when I watched the film. The whole thing with these 5 musical notes that goes on throughout the film, and I'm going to talk about that a bit later. But anyway, we follow Roy Neary's character, played by Richard Dreyfuss, into the final act of the film, where he hears something mankind has never heard before. Yes, he hears it. He doesn't see it. He hears it. And that's the basic of the film. Last couple of things I missed out. For example, you see the way that all the authorities are reacting to this alien space, you know, denying it and trying to do something about it at the same time. And also in the opening of the film, you get this really enigmatic opening where you see all these World War II aircraft with no passengers. The passengers have all disappeared, and these World War II aircraft look like they've never been flown before, and everyone starts going and finding them, and it's a bit of an enigmatic opening, and you don't really, and throughout the film, you know, that opening's there, and you kind of wonder why, and then in the third act of the film, not to give anything away, it all makes a lot of sense. And basically, this film is so original. It really is. I haven't watched many Spielberg films when he's both written and directed the film. And I've seen this film twice now. I watched it a while, I think I watched it about a year ago now, and I watched it again last night. And I actually completely forgot last night that he wrote and directed the film. And I think that actually adds a bit more uniqueness to this film than any of his other films that he's done. It's like any films that he did prior to this, you know, Sugar Express and Jaws, and any of other famous films that I did after, like Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, and so on and so on and so on. I think this film is unique in its own way because it's both written and directed by Steven Spielberg. But anyway, one of the things I really want to talk about the film is the realism of the film. The film that came out in 1977, it still feels very much like this would happen if actual alien spaceships came down to Earth and, you know, people were seeing them. If actual UFOs, people were seeing them, and it actually feels like this would still happen today. Even though this film came out over 40 years ago now, you can still believe that these things that actually happen in the film would actually happen. You know, people questioning, people saying that, well, he's obviously crazy for seeing UFOs around here, and it's actually believable that, you know, these things that happen in the film would actually happen in real life. Spielberg has written a very realistic film, considering alien spaceships are involved. And also, the film has small elements of horror. There's even one scene in particular where you see Gillian's child get, you know, taken by these alien spaceships, and there's actually a lot of horror elements in this film. Jaws is very much a thriller, and you do really feel the suspense in that film, and in this film you actually feel quite intense with quite a bit of the film. I'm not gonna lie though, the film does take a bit of time to get going. In the first act of the film, well, most of the first act of the film, you really just learn about these characters. You really learn about who Roy Neary is, and you learn that he's just his family man, you know, he's a husband, he's got a few kids, he's got about 3 kids in the film, and you just really learn about who he is as a person, how he is with his kids and everything. And Richard Dreyfuss plays him really, really well, by the way. I'm going to talk about that a bit later, but yeah. You really just learn about this character. And then when he goes on to investigate why all these lights go off, you get one of my favourite shots in the entire film. Basically, in this shot, you see what you think are car headlights come behind Roy Neary when he's in his car, and he just waves for the car to go past. But he thinks it's a car. But then the headlights go up. Don't go around, they go up. And then you know what you've just seen is an alien spaceship. I was like, that is a good shot. That is a good moment in the film. It's actually one of my favourite moments in the film when you're like, you know alien spaceships are about, and you know that Rhino is just kind of coming to contact with one and he didn't even realise. It's a fantastic moment in the film. And then that's how he kind of becomes obsessed. He has like a rare occurrence in his car after he comes in contact with his alien spaceship, but at the same time he doesn't realise he's coming in contact with his alien spaceship until he has rare occurrence in his car, and his car starts doing weird things to him. But anyway, and then he gets literally flashed by these alien spaceships, like light flashed on by this alien spaceship. And oh my god, it's just... The first act of the film, it builds up to the second act of the film. Where the second act of the film, it has some comedy in, but it's not, you know, straight up slapstick comedy that's right in your face. It's quite subtle. It's actual comedy that, you know, you're not sure whether you should laugh at or not. It's kind of dark comedy, if anything. You're not sure if you should laugh at it, but at the same time, it's really, really watching Richard Dreyfuss' character kind of go crazy, because he plays that character so well. He really does. But anyway, the second act of the film is more of a build-up to the third act of the film. Everything starts to become more intense. You know, you start to follow Roy Neary's journey and why he's so obsessed with this mountain that's got a flat surface. Literally, it's literally like a mountain like that with a flat surface. He starts to question why he's got this obsession with this mountain. But anyway, in the third act of the film, everything starts to become more and more intense, and it starts to become more clear as well, to the point that the third act of the film is literally breathtakingly beautiful. It really is. Some of the shots in the third act of the film are honestly amazing to look at. They really are. The cinematography in the third act of the film is incredible. The person who did the cinematography of this film, he won an Oscar. I looked it up after, and you can completely understand why. The cinematography in the third act of the film, it's fantastic. And also, what I'm mentioning in the third act of the film as well, is that when they do finally come into contact with these alien spaceships, there's no big battle or the aliens come out and start zapping the humans, because that would just be silly. Like, there's nothing that would happen in a blockbuster nowadays. Instead, Blockbuster does this fascinating thing where the aliens and the humans just communicate through these 5 musical notes. Bum, 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 bum. It's so fantastic to watch this back and forth of musical notes between the humans and the aliens, and it just works so well. It's so fascinating as well. It's not like anything that's ever been done since, like Independence Day and so on and so on and so on. All the aliens come down and start killing all the humans. But in this film, it's so different. They just communicate through sound and through music, and it's just absolutely fantastic. And these 5 musical notes are so distinctive, by the way. They've been used in so many films. They're even used in Moonraker, a Bond film. Yeah, they actually are, and it's just so distinctive, you know. Bum, 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 bum. They're the hand symbols that go along with it. Basically, I read the story once where Spielberg said that him and John Williams spent days on end just coming up with those 5 notes. And yeah, you can tell, because these 5 notes are so distinctive. Even now, I just remember those 5 notes so well. You hear them in something, or it's like a TV show or film, and you just know. Thoughts and counts of the third kind. You just really do. And also that leads me to the score of the film. The overall score of the film is fantastic. You know, John Williams he's used those 5 notes and he's incorporated in this amazing musical score throughout the whole of the film, and he works really well. And also his music actually builds in the intensity in the second act of the film as well. Honestly, the film is structured really well as well. Like, it's crafted really well. In the first act, there's a bit of a build up. The second act, build up. The third act, more build up, and then finally payoff. But not as we expect. It's fascinating, and it's this weird thing where intensity becomes wonder. It really is. It's an absolutely fantastic ending to the film. And also, one of the other things I want to talk about in the film is the way that, you know, these plot lines that are introduced in the first act of the film, or some even in the second act of the film, you almost forget about. You almost like, oh right, that's been introduced, I wonder if I ever get picked up again. You almost forget about them, but at the same time, you don't. But then everything seems to be wrapped up in the third act of the film. It really does. Not to go into spoilers, but everything is wrapped up, and you're just like, wow, when you get to the end of the film, like, oh my god, I completely forgot about that storyline, but then Spielberg still managed to remind me about it in such a fantastic way. I'm not going to lie though, this film does have a few problems in my opinion. For example, the whole family thing with Roy and Mary's family. But once Roy literally drives his family away, they're barely talked about, if at all, in the second half of the film. And it's just a bit like, well, they're such an important part of the first film, I thought they literally mentioned at least once in the second half, and they weren't really. And also there's this little moment between Gillian and Roy, which just kind of came out of nowhere in the final act of the film. Apart from that, it's an absolutely fantastic film. Richard Dreyfuss in the main role as Roy Neri is perfect. The performance that Richard Dreyfuss gives in the film is incredible. You know, he's energetic when he needs to be. He's kind of subtly funny when he needs to be, and at the same time, he's serious when he needs to be. And he's like flamboyant when he needs to be. He just works so well in the film. And I thought Richard Dreyfuss was perfect in the film. He's great in the film, and yeah, his performance that he gives, I love him in the film. I don't think the film would be the same without Richard Dreyfuss. He did a superb job in the film. And the film's directed incredibly well as well. You have the cinematography, there's a lot of scenes with a lot of people that are directed incredibly well. The scenes where you finally have this communicator and the aliens, again, they're done incredibly well. It's a really, really good film. But also, it's also quite a slow film and quite an intense film. That's just one huge build-up to something that's really never been done before. This whole fascinating sequence where the aliens and humans communicating through sound is just absolutely fantastic. It's such a clever idea. It really is. And I think Spielberg did an absolutely amazing job with directing this film. Although the film does have a few problems, I'm not going to lie, ultimately, I thought this was an absolutely fantastic film. And also, it's got some really enigmatic scenes at the opening of the film, which can all completely make sense in the end of the film. And also, the special effects in this film are really, really good. They still hold up really, really well. Bear in mind, this came out the same year. This came out in 1977, the same year as the original first Star Wars. So, special effects weren't what they are now. And the special effects in this film still are really good in my opinion. And by the way, on the topic of Star Wars, that leads me into something quite ironic. It's something quite ironic that I'm wearing this t-shirt, and also there's a Lego Star Wars portrait over there. Basically, it's not to do with this Star Wars film in particular, but it's a Star Wars t-shirt, so I thought I'd wear it anyway. Basically, the thing is, with this film, it came out in the same year as Star Wars, 1977. And basically, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were friends. In fact, they went on to go and do Indiana Jones after this together. But anyway, I digress. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas are friends. And before either of the films came out, they both said, oh, we both got sci-fi films coming out in the same year. Let's take 12% of each of the profits of these films. And so basically that's what he did. George Lucas took 12% of the profit from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Spielberg took 12% of the profit from Star Wars, the original Star Wars. Little did George Lucas know how popular, how insanely popular Star Wars would become. And still, with the latest Disney Star Wars films, Spielberg still gets 12% of the profits of each film. Ever since the original Star Wars film, you know, from Empire, Return to Phantom Menace, and so on and so on and so on, Spielberg still gets 12% of the profits from the Star Wars films. I'm gonna be honest, I think Spielberg got the better end of the deal there. Anyway, I digress. Close Encounters of the Third Kind is an absolutely fantastic film. It's got an amazing score, it's got an amazing performance from Richard Dreyfuss in the leading main role. It's amazingly directed, and the special effects are really, really good. Like I said, considering this was a 1977 film that was made over 40 years ago now, the special effects are still pretty good in my opinion. It's got a really compelling story, it's really intriguing to watch. I was glued constantly to the screen the entire time, and I just think this is an absolutely fantastic film. It's really well directed, cinematography is fantastic, and Spielberg did an absolutely fantastic job writing the script for this film. Honestly, the dialogue is so realistic, and at the same time, the film is structured really, really well. All in all, I'm going to say that Close Encounters of the Third Kind is an 8.8 out of 10. Why not higher? Well, I must admit this isn't my favourite Spielberg film, but that's saying something because I do love a lot of his films anyway. But yeah, it isn't my favourite Spielberg film, but it's still fantastic to watch. I do recommend this film though, but you do really have to wait because the film takes a bit of time to get rolling, but once it does, honestly, it's so compelling and you're glued to the screen till literally the final shot. And the music by John Williams that literally lifts you off into the air at the end, it's absolutely fantastic. All in all, I think Close Encounters of the Third Kind is a 8.8 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, what do you think of Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Do you love it to hate it? Or have you just not watched it? And if not, why not? Please do comment below and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And just say once again, I'm still watching and reviewing a handful of Spielberg films right now. So look forward to my review of Jurassic Park. So excited to see that review coming very, very soon on this channel. Anyway guys, thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like, subscribe on this video, and I look forward to many more, both film and TV reviews and Spielberg reviews coming very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon, but bye for now, bye!